Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Fishers Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025. I ask you to please rise if you are able and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, would you call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Ferrucci.
Here.
Mr. Grinslade.
Here.
Mr. Sylvie. Mr. Stevenson.
Here.
And Mr. Lannon.
Here.
Thank you.
We do have a quorum to conduct business this evening. If there is a petition before us that is a tie vote, 2-2, your petition will be continued until next month. So if you approach the podium as a petitioner and wish to get an automatic continuance to next month, you're welcome to do so. So just let us know ahead of time, okay? The first order of business will be approval of the previous minutes. Do we approve the previous minutes? Anyone have any revisions or modifications to them? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. First order of business is VA 25-9, Wilson Garage rehearing with an address of 16465 East 101st Street. The request is consideration of a development standards variance from sections 2.3.4 and 3.2.3 of the city's Unified Development Ordinance to allow an increase in the size of a legal non-conforming structure from 240 square feet to 576 square feet, which is a 140% increase in the size of the structure, a decrease in the minimum size of the lot from 15,000 to 4,950 square feet, and a decrease in the front setback from 11 feet to 7 feet. Our petitioner is Amandia Jeske. Please approach the podium. And Amandia, this was denied last month. There was a motion to approve. It came back at 2-3. And again, we have 4 members here tonight. If there is a motion this evening and it's tied, you'll be back next month. So you're free to ask for continuance, not proceed with your petition and come back next month, or if you want to proceed, you're welcome to do so. Okay, thank you.
There we go. All right. Let me grab it. Well, first off, obviously my name is Amanda Jeske. First of all, I want to thank the BZA for giving me a second opportunity to go over some of these facts. One of the finding of facts that came back to me from the last month's was that it would not result in a practical difficulty in the use of the property, as the property has been utilized as is for quite some time without any prior need for the variance requested. I'd like to go through a couple of timelines to explain why I'm here again. Back in 2006 is when the property was purchased by my husband, Bruce. He purchased it because of the 6-car vinyl-sided garage that was on there so that it could house his collector cars. Well, at the time, the neighbors to the east were very agreeable for him to use their driveway, which was already in place, instead of him developing off the 10-foot strip. And this is not this property. This is my property that I'm trying to attach this to. So my property attaches where it says 29.4. I have 3 acres. So the neighbor, when he purchased this, was agreeable to let him use the driveway because he did not want the trees that were on our 10-foot strip taken down. Well, then in 2014, he sold to our neighbors, the Clarks, and around 2014 is when I came into the picture and met Bruce, and since married. And throughout 2017, we're trying to decide what do we want to do with this 3 acres. And that's when we decided we really would like to move forward with the build of the house. In 2017, we came before the BZA to get the variances to build our pole barn. Also, at that time, they granted us the variance to place the house in the middle of the property as it would be behind the accessory structures. It's just the way this property was set up and how he bought it with that 6-car garage on there. There is no, it sets right on the front property line. So we have to build in the center of our property. Then around 2018, we put in a well. 2023, we found out that we were getting ready to put in a septic system. We found out we could be part of the sewer system that was going to be put in out there. Obviously, that's going to be to our benefit rather than wasting money on a septic system. During that time that they're putting the sewer system in, they ran our line of our 10-foot strip that's off 101st Street, which is our only access to our property. Keep in mind, we're still using the Clark's driveway. About the time of our pole barn construction, it was increasing, our neighbors were becoming increasingly unhappy that we were on their driveway. And every time we would get our collector cars out, they had aggressive dogs that would jump on our cars. You can't even walk down the driveway. You can't even walk down my 10-foot strip without the dogs charging. So that's when we decided we've got to find a better access if we're going to build a house back here. So the first one we did is we looked at the rear portion of our property where there is a neighbor driveway there. We didn't even get to the point of talking to them because where their driveway access Park Drive, there's a big power pole there. So that would have had to have been moved. So that wasn't a viable option. So we went back to revisit our 10-foot strip, which is now probably down to 8 foot because now the sewer line goes up the side of it. So then we thought, well, maybe we could talk to our neighbors on the other side of our 10-foot strip and see if they would be willing to sell us, 3 to 5 feet. Then we looked at that again and realized, no, we can't do that because there is a big green power box down there on 101st Street that we can't expand, even if they were agreeable to it. So we didn't even talk to them. And that's when we ran across Jim Wilson's property. And he's here tonight. And we approached him with our idea of, would you sell us this strip so that we can get us a driveway to our property? Yes, it'd give us a better approach to the house, but that wasn't our main reason. Our main reason is, I don't know how to access this property. So I need to get this driveway figured out before I can move forward with the build of my house. Because at this point, I have 3 wooded acres in Hamilton County that I can't build a house on because I can't get to it and I can't get construction equipment into it. And then to make things worse, 3 weeks before my initial hearing, my husband passed away unexpectedly. And so now this is all on me to figure out, and I am 100% still wanting to build the house because that is my best financial option. It will pull all of my stuff together on one property, and it will definitely be the most beneficial for me. So I'm asking for this reevaluation today because without these variances on Jim's property, dividing it, allowing me to add onto his existing, what's left, 1-car garage, that would get me to what I need. This piece of property has no value other than to Mr. Wilson and to me. It's not big enough to build on. It's not big enough to do anything with. And I'm prepared to take the strip that I'd like to purchase from Mr. Wilson and plat it into my 3 acres to make it all one piece. So I do want to thank you all for, again, listening to my plight, and hopefully you can help me with this. I appreciate it. Do you have any questions?
Ma'am, we'll hear from staff, and if we have questions of you and staff, we'll entertain them when staff is done.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Staff?
Good evening. My name is Gabrielle Herron, and I'm a senior planner in the planning department. So before you today is BA 25-9. So this property is addressed 16465 East 101st Street and is zoned R2 with residential units on all sides. The Fisher's 2040 plan identifies this area as estate residential. The variance requests do not align with the vision because the lot and structure are legal non-conforming. The request before you today is a rehearing request for consideration of development standards variance from section 2.3.4 and 3.2.3 of the city's Unified Development Ordinance, UDO, to allow an increase in the size of a legal non-conforming structure from 240 square feet to 576 square feet, which is a 140% increase in the size of the structure. A decrease in the minimum size of the lot from 15,000 square feet to 4,950 square feet, and a decrease in the front setback from 11 feet to 7. And at the June 30th public hearing, the board denied the motion to approve the variance to 3. The petitioner requested a rehearing to clarify the reasons for denial. Here's a proposed site plan. The site plan shows a rectangular portion of the lot that will be split off and the location of the proposed addition in relation to the existing structure. And then here are the proposed front, side, and rear elevations. The blue box indicates where the proposed addition is. The existing accessory structures and lot are legal non-conforming because they were established before the Unified Development Ordinance in 2018. What that means is both accessory structures are permitted in their current location and can be located on a smaller lot without a primary structure. In the last year, the UDO was recently amended through ordinance number 022425F and 031725C. The new updates are applicable to this request because the front setback is reduced from 40 feet to 25 feet on local roads in the R2 zoning district. One purpose of the variance is to split off approximately 0.11 acres represented by the blue shaded region, and this will be added to 16423 East 101st Street through the platting process, which is directly west of the blue shaded region. The other purpose is to expand the existing legal non-conforming accessory structure in the purple. This accessory structure in the blue shaded region will be demolished once it is split off and combined with 16423 East 101st Street. The expansion of the remaining accessory structure will make up for the accessory structure in the blue shaded region, make up for that being demolished, and it will continue to be used as storage for a vehicle and other miscellaneous personal items. The red shaded property is the one asking for the variances. The green shaded property is the one that will accept the 0.11 acres during the platting process, and the property owners with public comments are indicated by yellow stars. So Danielle and Matt Clark from 16455 East 101st Street asked whether there would be any changes made to their property. Cynthia Hogwood from 16391 East 101st Street asked for details on the request, and the day and time of the meeting. And then Christine Moschel at 16475 East 101st Street is here today. Staff has no recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Should the board approve this petition, staff recommends it is done with the following conditions. The approval letter and related documentation be recorded on the property with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office. Staff, thank you, and staff will be available for any questions.
Thank you.
Ma'am, could you come forward? I have a question about, you had mentioned building a house.
Yes,
Is that on the southern portion of 16423?
it will be right in the center of that, about where
In the center?
right where the writing is.
And do you currently live in the houses that are depicted here?
No, the top building where the 16423 is, that is the 6-car vinyl-sided garage that houses our collector cars. And then to the right of that is our pole barn, and then the little green roof is just a camping cabin. It's a cabin on skids. It's not even, doesn't even have a foundation. And those have all been, variances have all taken care of that when we got our variance for the pole barn. They grandfathered all of that in because of the way this property had already been set up.
Okay, so there's no residence on 16423 currently?
No. That's what I'd like to build.
Okay.
And I haven't submitted plans because until I get the drive figured out, I can't move forward with that.
I understand. Members of the board, do we have questions for staff or the petitioner while the petitioner's here?
I guess I have questions for the staff in terms of the comments that we received from the remonstrators. Concerns regarding the changes to the alley, how that will impact traffic, and then also, I guess there was a storm water question as well. Can the staff address those for us?
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So in our research, not only on this variance case with the petitioner as well as the sewer project that you talked about, which came through in this area, what is labeled as a road, this glorified alley or this gravel shared drive, we did our research, went back and forth. It was never granted to the county, and therefore when we annexed this area, it was also not granted to the city. So we believe, shown here, that this alley is on each one of these individual property owners, so there is no right-of-way. So therefore, the city would not be making improvements. So outside of you, if you decide to grant this variance, the petitioner will still have to communicate and work with these property owners to receive a cross-access easement to access this drive.
Thanks, Ross.
So Ross, when you say the alley, is that Park Drive? Is that, what do you?
That is correct. This area adjacent to 16455 that goes in between these homes is, what is it?
Okay. Got it.
This is what we are considering
The
an
alley.
alley or a shared drive. It is labeled as Park Drive, but it is not public right away.
So the city won't have any ongoing duties of upkeep and maintenance as it relates to that?
That is correct. You had a question about stormwater, though?
Yes. I was just reiterating the question that we have. Questions concern about increased stormwater runoff.
So another good question, anytime a home is constructed anywhere in the city, they're required to maintain all of their own stormwater on that property. So when and if this property was to go through the residential building permit, our stormwater team would evaluate at that time.
Okay. Thank you.
Members of the board, do you have any more questions for petitioner or the staff before I open the public hearing? At this time, I'll open the public hearing. If anyone is here from the public to speak to this petition, please raise your hand. Please approach the podium, state your name and address, and proceed, please.
Hi, my name is Danielle Allman Clark. I live at 16455 East 101st Street. from the property that's in front of the proposed new driveway. I'd like to correct a few things that Ms. Jeske said. We purchased the property in 2012. We renovated it and didn't move in until 2014, but we used the property, our 4 boys would play baseball and everything while we renovated. We never received a complaint from the Jeskes about our dogs, but we did from Amazon drivers. So we moved the invisible line and they no longer have access to the driveway until the concrete pad, which we had poured. I have significant concerns about the driveway being put in behind our property. Right now, as it is, when it rains, all the water between our property and Michelle's is collected in that area. And so I'm concerned that if a driveway is put in, then that will push the drainage into both of our yards. I'm concerned about the aesthetic that it disrupts in the 3 backyards that are adjacent to it. We've let the Jeskes use our driveway generously for the last 12 years with the understanding that when they built a house, they would use their 10 feet to the side of our driveway to build their own driveway. Because they weren't using it on a regular basis, they would come maybe once or twice a weekend. We wouldn't see their traffic very often. Traffic has picked up. We have let them use it for the construction of their barn, for the delivery of their tiny house, for all the improvements they made on the property, and our driveway surface has suffered for it. So it is, I feel, in everyone's best interest if they use the 10 feet that they were allotted with access to 101st Street, because the alley is private property, and they will have to get permission from everyone along that driveway, or that alley, to use that property.
Thank you. Anyone else here from the public? Please approach, state your name and address. Ma'am, it's a little easier for us to hear if you're just a little bit back from the microphone.
Okay.
Thank you.
Christine Moschel, I live at 16475 East 101st Street, directly south of the strip of land where they're proposing to put the driveway. My concern is, like the Jeskes, we are landlocked. And so we end up using that shared alleyway to get in and out of our property. Because it does belong to all of the properties to the east of us, it's very difficult to try and get everybody on board with trying to keep that in a drivable condition. Right now it is extremely rutted, muddy, and those of us who have to use it are kind of maneuvering around trying to get through there until we can make some kind of other adjustments. We have tried improving it a number of times. We've lived there since 1992. My biggest concern there is that if they're going to be bringing construction trucks through there, that's going to be a real mess. I don't see how that's going to work. It's just, right now, it's just a gravel driveway, 2 tire tracks. That's all it is. It would probably be much better and closer for her if she was to use that 10-foot allotted driveway so that she could get her building materials in order to build her house. The other thing, as Danielle had mentioned, right now it's a line of trees that's kind of a buffer between our property and the Clark's property. All those trees obviously would have to go away, and what is going to happen to the low area where all the rainwater collects now? There's going to have to be some kind of culvert put in or something done. The natural flow of the water comes from the north to the south, kind of heading towards Flat Fork Creek, which is behind us.
Ma'am, did I hear you correctly that the people to the east, do they maintain the Park Drive alleyway that you access to your property, or is that the individuals that live along you and other people who live along Park Drive?
So far, it's just been us and the people who use it. The people that actually own that drive don't really use it much. I believe the one gentleman that lives directly east of us, he had a large building put up not too long ago, a couple of
construction going through there use that?
Yeah, I was concerned that if they're going to be
No,
building.
no, no, when the guy that built the last thing, did he use that drive? Did the construction come through there?
I believe so.
What was the detriment then?
At that time, he was just having a pole barn built. I think it took them a matter of a day or two. Not quite the length of time that it would take to build a house.
It was the individual who built the pole barn, is he the one that owns the strip of ground that you have access to?
He owns the strip of ground that separates my property from his property. And
Okay.
a little bit, yeah. As you can see, if you look at the aerial map, you can see where his property kind of overlaps my property and our neighbor's property as well.
Okay. And then, as I look at this map, the individual to the north of that owns the gravel drive on their property, and again, to the north of that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it looks like there's a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people that own.
I understand. So those 5 lots from 101st Street to Park Drive, north to south, each own a portion, and no one maintains that then?
Like I said, in the past, we have gotten together with some of the other neighbors that use the drive and have gotten permission occasionally to, run through with a grader and put some gravel down.
Mhm.
But it maybe lasts one season before.
Yeah.
It's rather expensive to do.
Has there been any conversations about that after this? Like if
Excuse
the
me?
petitioner is willing to carry a certain amount or whatever that may be, right? Like you guys are all chipping in on it. I mean, have you guys had those conversations whatsoever?
Well, Fisher's has only just recently annexed us within the last month or so. We've been there since '92.
Anything else to add, ma'am?
No, I don't think so.
Thank you. Anyone else here from the public to hear? Go ahead. Please approach. State your name and your address.
Jim Wilson, and I'm the one with the garages that we've been talking about.
Okay.
The garage that was built across this, from the Michelle's is twice the size of what I'm building. And I owned the property during that time, did not see anything detrimental to the driveway going in from 101st Street to the properties. So I don't see anything different than what was approved from across the street. As far as maintaining that drive, there's a couple homes there, there's Michelle and then the Greggs to the south of them. Police and fire have to get back through there, right? So that it has to be maintained a certain minimum standard for police and fire to get back there. So I don't think it's let's just forget about this. Park Drive is the actual address, street name for that alley, but it's been abandoned from the county. So.
Any questions for petitioner? Or excuse me, for the gentleman here who's remonstrating? Thank you, Mr. Wilson. Anyone else?
My name is Greg Laura. I am at 855 Park Drive. I'm the property just south of the third star there on the map.
Okay.
Just to add to the other comments from the Mochelle's, we've been chipping in for that Park Drive alleyway for the last few years, just trying to work with neighbors to keep it up as much as it can, but like it was mentioned, it lasts maybe a season. The concern my wife and I have with if they're going to put a road through Mr. Wilson's property now attached to that without any kind of help from Fisher's to help maintain that and upkeep it or even upgrade it at some level, any kind of construction trucks are going to have a problem, at least navigating the turns, because at 101st Street, there's a large stone pillar kind of monument to mark the landmark. And then at Park Drive at the south side of the alley, there's also power poles that large trailer trucks have a very hard time making that turn. So, and then I can only imagine they'd have the same kind of problem making that 980 turn north or south coming out of the east-west drive. just to the east of us, working with them through that sewer project, establishing a right-of-way permission through his. He allowed us to gain access to our home, but otherwise, without that, we would also be landlocked, like the Michelle's. So just looking for some kind of clarity on how Fishers may want to address the landlocked issue with us.
Russ, do you have any comment to that?
Another great question. I think that was brought up during the sewer project down there, because I think it was clear that there were some properties that maybe if this was done now, we wouldn't subdivide the same way. These property owners would need to come together and to meet with our engineering department on any sort of maintenance or dedication of right-of-way for the city to accept it outside of a landlocked property. Happy to meet with any of the residents there if they'd like to get together as a group. We have other opportunities where the city takes over private roads, so this could be similar to that, even though it's one step removed from a private road since it's all on individual property owners.
Yeah, it's used as a public road. Google Maps shows it as Park Drive. All the Amazon trucks, FedEx trucks, they blaze a trail down that alley and it adds to the ruggedness and the unkeptness of the alleyway, so it's always been a problem.
So you're saying there's already large trucks driving down it? That's not a new thing?
Daily.
Daily? Okay, that's good.
Thank you, sir. Okay, anyone else here from the public? Seeing no one else, I'll close the public hearing. Before we entertain a motion, does anyone have any questions for petitioner or staff? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay. Do we have a motion to either approve or deny VA 25-9? In consideration of that motion, there are some factors that we consider. I'd like to repeat them or touch upon them before a motion. The approval will or will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will or will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. And thirdly, the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will or will not result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. So as we move forward in either a motion to deny or approve, please keep those elements of denial or approval in mind. With that, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve VA 25-9 on the condition that the approval letter and related documentation be recorded on the property with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office.
We have a motion from Mr. Lannon. Do we have a second? I will second that motion. We have a motion. We have a second. Secretary?
Yeah. Can we have comments first, I guess, Mr. President? And thanks for sharing the factors that we consider for granting or denying the approval. It's my concern that I have is that we do have an existing legal non-conforming use, and by granting this, we will be expanding or enlarging that, which generally is not looked favorable on, and that's a concern I have. Also, the use and value of area adjacent to this property being affected in an adverse way as well. I'm concerned about that. We heard that from various neighbors that are adjacent to the property. So,
Okay. Well, when we have the vote here, we'll take your comments into consideration.
okay, thank you.
Okay. Secretary?
Before I roll call, I do want to confirm that Mr. Lannon made a motion to approve.
Correct.
That was seconded by Mr. Ferrucci.
Correct.
Thank you.
So we have a motion, we have a second, so we're voting to approve. Mr. Stevenson's provided his comments.
Very good. So, Mr. Grinsley,
No.
Mr. Stevenson,
No.
Mr. Lannon,
Aye.
and Mr. Ferrucci.
In favor of the motion. So we have a tie at 2-2. So you will be automatically continued until next month when we have 5. If we don't have 5, we'll let you know ahead of time. Okay? So we do appreciate you coming back this month to provide us more information. Thank you. Motion fails. Our next order of business is case number VA 25-11, address 11690 Fall Creek Road. The request is consideration of a development standard variance from sections 3.2.3B of the city's Unified Development Ordinance to allow Lot 2A on Geist Point Plat to have a front setback of 10 feet from the required 40 feet. Originally, it had said 55, but I believe it's actually 40 feet. Our petitioner is Kyra Miller. Our petitioner?
Austin, and we are the ones that are making the request for the 10-foot setback variance on the Lot 2A. We own Lot 2 and have been there for about 15 years. Christy asked me to give you a little bit of background. We have been in front of the BZA before for a very, very short period of time.
Ma'am, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm going to ask you to move that microphone a little closer to you, and there you go. Thank you.
Is that better?
That's better. Thank you.
Geist Point was originally platted as 3 lots inclusively, lots 1, 2, 3, as you can see up there. Our lot, the middle one, is the largest lot by 2 times the next largest lot, and about 3 times the size of the lot 1. Geist Point, at the time the plat was drawn, I think it was in May of 1986. It was under the jurisdiction of the city of Noblesville, and subsequently it is now under the jurisdiction of the city of Fishers. In about 2018, my husband and I thought about our retirement plans and wanted to see about the opportunity to potentially build a second home on the lot. We had reached out to a builder in the area who came out, assessed the property, and said, sure, it looks like that would be feasible. So that was kind of our first step. We then called the Hamilton County. They referred us to City of Fishers. We came to City of Fishers, got the setback requirements, and then worked with Nathan Oldhouse and Carter at Miller Surveying to come up with the drawings such as what you see up there. He's done that. And so in 2019, I think it was April, we'd already gone through the TAC meeting and any other site planning that was done by Miller Surveying, went through multiple reiterations, and we were preparing for the April 24th, 2019 BZA meeting. Showed up at that meeting, and immediately our neighbors on Lot 1 and 3 stood up and intervened and stopped the meeting and said they were going to sue us. And so city officials counseled that. They also said that there was a property line controversy on the common property line between line 1 and 2. And city officials counseled us to defer. Originally, their paperwork as we were going into the meeting was the planning, I guess the planning group, is that what you're called? Recommended that the variances to reparcel, and there were 3 variances were requested at the time, be approved. When the neighbors stood up and indicated their plan to sue, that was changed to approve with conditions. So we are coming back now because the lawsuit's been settled after 6 years. It was appealed. It's got 2 courts. The Hamilton County Superior Court has come in and weighed in on this matter, and so has the county and the State of Appeals for the state of Indiana. And the final ruling has been that it was a frivolous lawsuit. There was no merit at the time to sue us. The Hamilton County Superior Court ruled that there were unclean hands on Lot 1, and that the property lines between lots 1 and 2 were just as they were drawn in the original plat, just as Miller Surveying has been submitting them back in April of 2019 and for today. Both courts also reiterated the numerous covenant issues that started in 1988 when Lot 1 deeded about a third of their acreage to the Tammany Boat Dock Association to build boat docks for about 10 boats, which resulted in the creation of a fourth lot. And that is already what's written in the court's statement. It's exactly what we are seeking and obviously what our neighbors are opposing. And there is a Hamilton County property report for parcel 13-15-10-00-01-001-001, which shows the reparceling from Geist Point already. So I bring this up to you just strictly to say that the plat has been changed since 1986, and some of these changes have improved neighbors and other folks on the plat's quality of life and give them access to the lake, which we all want because it's a beautiful place to live, and that we're just asking for a similar thing. We'd like to improve our lot, potentially, and potentially build a second house. And that brings us to today, and we've had our TAC meeting, and public notice went out, and we're here to address the reparcel request in the existing home 10-foot variance setback. And are there any questions about that right now before I move on?
Do you have any questions for petitioner? Staff?
And then I can finish mine? Yeah, I thought you was asking if there were questions of you. Sorry.
We do not have any questions for you, ma'am. Are you finished with your petition?
Oh, I just asked if you had any questions, because if not, then I had just closing comments. You know, the lot is unique. It's a peculiar piece of land. It has very contoured topography. It has an expanded floodplain in it. It has a shoreline restoration that probably is going to have to be taken a look at. And so there are some very peculiar, unique characteristic situations of the lot in order to build a house with kind of the same look and feel as the other houses in the neighborhood that's resulting in our request for the 10-foot setback. So those things can happen. The other thing that's also very unique about this property is that the neighbors, there's a joiner's driveway that runs across the front of the property that takes a very significant piece of the usable land away from our ability on what we could potentially place on the plat. And so there's also a stormwater easement. So there's just some, things that are going to have to be taken a look at by the experts and the qualified folks to make that determination of how a home would fit onto that potentially if it gets approved by you folks. So for these reasons, as the first step in the process, this is why we're requesting your approval for the variance. And we don't believe that's going to have any adverse effects on the neighbor's lot. I think that was what the city of Fisher's first comments were back in 2019 as well. But Christy can comment to that. So thank you for your time. Sorry about that little hiccup there.
No.
All right. Good evening. Christy Cashin, Senior Planner with the City of Fishers Planning Department. The project before you tonight is a consideration of development standard variance from section 3.2.3.b of the city's UDO to allow lot 2A on the Geist Point plat to have a front yard setback of 10 feet from the required 40-foot setback. The public notice for this project was incorrectly listed the requirement for the front yard setback as 55 feet, when in fact R2 zoning requires a 40-foot front yard setback. This project is located at 11690 Fall Creek Road in Indianapolis. This property is located in R2 residential zoning and regulated by the city's UDO. The surrounding area, as shown here, is zoned open space to the north, R2 zoning to the east and west, and PUDC, Marina Village PUD to the south. The Fishers 2040 Comprehensive Plan designates this site as low-density suburban residential. The purpose of low-density suburban residential is to include single-family residentials at 1 or 2 dwelling units per acre. This variance request is in conjunction with a plat that would subdivide a 0.9 acre property into 2 parcels for two single-family homes. So staff feels that this aligns with the future land use map. As the petitioner mentioned, in 2019, they requested a similar lot split and variance. However, the petitioner withdrew their plat and variance application at that time due to the civil suit that they mentioned. Those previous case numbers, for the record, are PP-19-1, SP-19-4, and VA-19-5. The proposed plat subdivides Lot 2 into Lot 2A and Lot 2B. Both lots meet R2 residential zoning size requirements. However, the new lot will create a 10-foot front yard setback for the existing home, as shown in the orange circle. This is why they're seeking a variance. No variances are being requested for Lot 2B at this time. This proposed plat is scheduled to be reviewed by the Plat Committee on August 6th. This image shows the current conditions of the site. This is the shared access point for all 3 homes on the Geist Point plat, with Lot 2 being in the center of the screen. A new house on proposed Lot 2B would be built in this area shaded here, with access off of the shared drive that heads north towards the existing home on Lot 2. Here is a view of the topography map and the floodplain map. Since the public notice was published, we have received 4 public comments. Thomas Morath of 11670 Fall Creek Road feels the proposed lots are too small. Curtis Quirin of 725 Tammand Trace stated that the setback is not consistent with others in the area. Lisa Buck of 11650 Fall Creek Road commented on behalf of her father and mentioned her concern of reduced property values. And Carolyn Moore of 11700 Fall Creek Road has concerns about the way the deed is written to only allow 3 homes on the Geist Point plat. And she also has traffic concerns and several comments about the viability of whether the lot is even buildable. Full comments can be found in the staff report. Staff has no recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Should the board approve this petition, staff recommends that it is done with the following condition: that the approval letter and related documentation be recorded on the property with the Hamilton County Recorder's Office. Staff and the petitioner are available for questions.
Thank you, Christy. At this time, I'm going to take a 5-minute recess to allow folks to use the restroom, stretch their legs. We're going to reconvene in exactly 5 minutes. Thank you.
48 Connor Street, Noblesville, Indiana. The brief comment is, we're asking for a front yard setback from 40 to 10, which is on the existing house, but just so we know that that house is not on the road, let's say it's already set back like 80 feet.
State your name, sir, and your address.
Yes, my name is Tom Perkins. I'm with Paganelli Law Group, representing Fadi Abdallah, who is the owner of FED Investments, the owner of Lot 1 on the maps that you've been looking at. All right, so I also invite questions that help me extend my time, but I'm going to try to hit the points I need to hit. First of all, to clarify the lawsuit and the litigation that was involved, the courts all determined that the litigation was premature. It was frivolous because it was premature, because Fishers had not acted yet to even allow this. So there was no injury. So that sets up the proposition that this is the first domino in a long line of dominoes that are likely to fall and likely to be litigious. I also want to correct the point about Lot 1 and the kind of the carve out of that. It was for the boat dock. It was basically to create common area. No other residence was created from that carve off. The lot size of Lot 1 was effectively reduced, which leads me to the first of 3 points that I'll call density, development, and deeds. All right, density. As staff pointed out, this is R2, density between 1.1 and 1.7 per acre. 0.3 acres, 0.9 acres, 0.6 acres, by my math is 1.8, by 3, that's 1.67. It's under the limit. Now, you have to take all 3 of these lots together. I would like to point out that Lot 2 is still one parcel. It's shown as Lot 2A and 2B, but it is one parcel. So if we split that into 2, now you've got 4 parcels in this area. Well, you're still stuck with 1.8 acres across 4 parcels. That pushes the density more than 2. I'm a lawyer, not a mathematician, but I believe it's 2.2 residences per acre at that point. So clearly that's not consistent with the R2 zoning. All right, development. Increased development will increase the traffic. It will, I looked on the website and there was an accident like right in front of this area just on the 20th. Talking to one of the other neighbors, police were out there yesterday for a similar accident. I know adding one house doesn't seem like that much, but for this shared driveway, that's a 25% increase. All right.
Deeds.
Deeds. So these were old school deeds. This isn't a homeowners association per se. Each of the deeds for these 3 parcels contains covenants and restrictions though. There is no guarantee that this Lot 2B will have those same deed restrictions. There are things like setbacks that are echoed in the zoning in the UDO, but these deeds have very specific requirements that the current owners of Lot 2 could escape by creating a separate parcel. So that sets up a situation where, among other things, the DNR is going to have to be involved. There'll be additional variances required. But those steps are all put into motion by what you folks do here today. If there's no replat, then the existing deeds stay in place, and there are ways for the owner to try to do this, but it saves the city, and it saves the other owners, and it saves the courts what is bound to be additional litigation. So, on behalf of Mr. Abdallah, ask you to reject the petitioner's proposal. It shouldn't happen. It is injurious to those adjoining homeowners. It's injurious to the public based on the traffic. If you look, there's no decel lane, basically. If you are leaning towards granting this, require commitments that mirror the existing deeds. That's only fair. All three owners, when they bought these properties, signed on to those deed restrictions. Please do not allow another parcel to be created unless it is subject to those same requirements. That's separate from the UDO. The city wouldn't have to be involved. That would be something that would have to be resolved among the neighbors.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm here for any questions.
We'll call you if we do have questions. Thank you. Next, anyone here? Anyone else? Sir, I'm going to ask you, or make a comment and ask you not to repeat anything that the gentleman from the law firm just mentioned. If you want to add anything that's new information, please do so. But in the interest of time, we want to keep remonstrators' comments to the 3 minutes allowed by our rules, and also to hear new information.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm Tom Morath. This is my wife, Barb Morath. We live at 11670 Fall Creek Road. Want to simply say that the traffic in this area is terrible. There was an accident yesterday that we saw. The police were out there. This, if you're not familiar with this area, it is right across from Geis Arena, where there's Wolfie's, other restaurants, and other shops. There are numerous accidents as people are coming out, people honking the horn. It's very difficult for us to get out. The other thing I'd simply like to mention is that we think that any house that's put on this property would be injurious to all the people in the neighborhood, and that house doesn't fit on this lot, and we think it would harm property values.
I would like to add, if the map before, you could see, you showed a map and you can see our property. We, from the back side of our property, we look right on the Geis Point property, the three properties that you are talking to. We are their neighbors. We were here 6 years ago. We objected to this. The idea of putting a home, an extra fourth home on there, seemed to all of us to be a very inappropriate idea. The home where they were talking about would block part of our view of the lake. We've been there since 1992. It would create essentially a wall of a home right in front of our neighbor, Fatty Abdallah. Cramming that home in, to me, it sounds as ludicrous as me taking part of my 0.8 acre property and dividing up part of my front yard and seeing what kind of home I could put there. Would my neighbors like that? I really don't think so. Nobody contemplates that kind of usage of property in Tamiami, where we are, and then in Geis Point, which is a neighbor to ours. We objected then, we object today.
Thank you, Mel. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anyone else here from the public to speak to this petition? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. And before we entertain a motion, do we have any questions for petitioner or staff?
I have not for the petitioner, but for the attorney from the remonstrators.
Sir, I'm sorry, I missed your name.
Sure. Tom Perkins.
Tom, thank you.
With Paganelli Law Group.
Mr. Lannon has a question for you.
Just real quick.
Mr. Lannon, is your microphone on?
Oh, sorry. The traffic, I mean, has there been any study done? Have you guys conducted anything like that, or is that purely anecdotal?
There's no traffic study that I know of.
Okay.
I know that as part of the litigation, the current owners of Lot 2 complained about parking in the shared driveway also. So I believe there are concerns even among the existing neighbors about traffic going in and out. If you look on Google Maps, you can tell that it's between Marina, so on the opposite side of the street, there's Marina Village Road and Bridgewater, and they're kind of equally spaced. so that it's an awkward series of turns. There's no right turn decel lane. For left turns, there's a lane passing the right, but that turns into the right turn lane into Marina Village, I think. So it's a confusing area, and what's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? I mean, one residence doesn't sound like much, but like I said, it increases. If you look at traffic studies, basically at least 6 trips a day. So you figure 2 cars working back after school activities or grocery and back. That's a significant increase for that shared driveway portion.
Okay, and then one more question. To your point, there's been 2 different, I guess we'll call them scenarios on the legalities of what happened that we were not privy to or involved with, but should this pass, this is going to have legal contingencies regardless, correct? So this wouldn't be the end of it anyways.
Right. So this is all public record. Both the original court filings are on my case, and
Yeah.
the appeals opinion is available also. It does a good job of setting out the facts of what led up to the litigation, and both sides presented evidence. It's all public record. The fundamental finding of the Court of Appeals was it was premature to argue about this in court. I didn't represent anybody. I wasn't part of that litigation. I'm just telling you what the Court of Appeals said. The action of the City of Fishers on this petition will decide whether there was potential harm that would allow further litigation. It's as simple as that.
But it's not the end if it was approved, correct? Based on your previous comments.
Oh, no, if this is approved, there will likely be litigation. I don't know for sure, but given the history, I suspect there will be. And there will be more involvement of the city. There will be additional variances. There will be a lot more work. The petitioner even alluded to that. DNR is going to be involved, all sorts of drainage studies and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you. Members of the board, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Mr. Greenslade.
I make a motion that we deny VA 25-11 on the reasons for the health and safety on the traffic, and also injurious to the property owners due to an extra 4th house being put on in this area, cutting off views of other people's homes.
Thank you, Mr. Greenslade. Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second. Kay?
Mr. Greenslade,
Yes. Or no?
Mr. Stevenson,
Yes.
Mr. Lannon,
No.
Mr. Ferrucci.
I vote in favor of denial, so yes, denied.
3 to 1.
Do we have any old business?
No old business?
Any new business?
No new business?
Staff communication?
Yes, we do anticipate having a meeting next month. We will look at schedules to make sure that we have the quorum that we need to have the item that you heard tonight, as well as an additional item. So we will be in touch.
All right, very good. With that, I'm going to adjourn the Board of Zoning Appeals meeting for Wednesday, July 23rd.